everyone, and welcome to the training for the Women in Social and Behavioral Science Wikipedia Edit-a-thon. I'm Cherise Keno, and I work at Sage Publishing. Sage is delighted to be hosting this event and to build the public profiles of women in social and behavioral science. These are scholars doing critical work to advance their disciplines, improve how these disciplines are taught, and come up with solutions to pressing social issues. We need to know who they are and what they're doing, and too often we don't. Thank you for helping to redress that. You may not know this, but Sage is an independent company. In fact, our founder, Sarah Miller-McCune, has passed on her shares of the company to a group of trustees charged with maintaining our independence and mission indefinitely. Eventually, a number of higher education institutions will become Sage's financial beneficiaries. This independence gives us the freedom to spend time and resources to help social behavioral science make an impact in the classroom and on the world. And through events like this Edit-a-thon, we can help give voice to scholars who are marginalized or historically underrepresented and overlooked, so that they can benefit academia and beyond. Now, without further ado, I'll go ahead and pass the baton to Ariel Citron, Institutional Partnerships Manager with Wikimedia DC, for our training.
Great. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm so pleased to be here with Sage to help you learn how to create and edit articles in Wikipedia about women in social and behavioral sciences. My name is Ariel Citron. I'm the Institutional Partnerships Manager for Wikimedia DC. Wikimedia DC is a regional outreach organization for Wikipedia and other projects of the Wikimedia Foundation. Our mission is to promote participation and engagement in Wikimedia projects in DC, Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, Delaware, and throughout the United States. Today, you will learn how to edit existing Wikipedia articles and create new ones with the goal of improving and creating Wikipedia articles on our work list. Ideally, we use the skills learned here today to help to improve and create articles on March 8th. So there's a few tools I want to share with you. You'll be using them leading up to the event and also at the event. So we have our Wiki event page. A Wiki event page is a landing page within Wikipedia, or Wikimedia rather, where you can find the list of articles we hope that you work on, a link to Wikipedia policies, practices, and tools, useful sources that you can use to create and edit articles, step-by-step editing instructions, as well as today's slide deck. This page will remain live after the event, and you'll be able to come back to it and improve your skills even after March 8th. We also have a page that we call the event dashboard. The event dashboard is a page outside of Wikipedia that we will ask you to log in on as well. This will track the work that we do on March 8th and let us know at the end of the day what we have accomplished. We also have our Google Sheet, which will be one of the sources we're using to track the articles that are worked on. And what we'll ask you to do with the Google Sheet is when you are ready to edit or create a Wikipedia article, we ask that you go to the sheet and type in your name or username. Either one will be fine next to the article you want to work on. And that way we will know that you are working on that and another person should not, at least while you are creating or editing it. So the first thing I will have you do, and if you need to pause the video to do this, that's fine. If you want to do it at a later time, that's fine as well. I highly recommend this, however. So the first thing we want you to do in your editing journey is to go to our editing page, which is our landing page for the event. To get to that page, you want to start at English Wikipedia. So you go to en.wikipedia.org, enter the shortcut that's highlighted here in yellow. It's WP:/Sage SBS. You'll enter that into the search bar and it will bring you to our event page. You'll then go ahead and bookmark that page or put it somewhere where you can easily find it. Again, you'll go to en.wikipedia.org. In the search bar, you'll type in WP:/Sage SBS. From this page, you're welcome to create a Wikipedia account. You can do this on this page or any Wikipedia article, either is fine. If you don't already have a Wikipedia account, you're going to go ahead and click Create Account. A few notes about usernames. Usernames are public. You do not have to use your real name or reveal any personal details about yourself. But please think hard about your username, just knowing that it will be public. If you need to create a username, go ahead and click Create Account. Sharing your email during this process is not mandatory, but we recommend sharing your email. That way, if you lose your password, it is easily recoverable. If you do not share your email during registration or the creation of the account, you will not be able to find your username if you lose it. If you do, in fact, already have a Wikipedia username, you can go ahead and log in when you are ready to edit. It is possible to edit Wikipedia when you're not logged in and you do not have an account. Just note that when you do save your changes or publish your changes within Wikipedia and you are not logged in, your IP will be publicly visible. So you may want to make sure that you are logged in before editing anything in Wikipedia. The second page I'd like to highlight, a tool that we'll use for today, is the dashboard. Now, the dashboard is a page that we're going to have you log into in addition to also logging into Wikipedia. The dashboard is a place that will capture your username and let us know that you participated in today's event. By doing that, we will also be able to track what was done here today during the event. So we will be able to see what articles were edited, what articles were created, and we will always be able to go back to the dashboard to see what articles have been viewed the most, what articles have been, hopefully not, but possibly deleted, maybe some are moved back to draft form, and we'll talk a little bit more about what those may mean. But it is an interesting tool you can use to track how many people are looking at your article. Now, this is what the dashboard page will look like when you click on that link that you can find on the event page. It will ask you to log in with Wikipedia. Now, if you already created your Wikipedia username on the previous step, you can go ahead and log in with Wikipedia there. If you did not have a chance to create your Wikipedia username during the previous step or at another time, you can actually create it directly in the dashboard. So if you click on sign up with Wikipedia, you can just go ahead and create your Wikipedia username there. A fun fact is that the Wikipedia username that you create can be used across Wikimedia projects. So you can use it in things like Wikimedia Commons, which is the photo repository, Wikidata, which is an online database, and so forth. So once you're logged in, this is what it will look like. Okay, of course, you'll see that we have 0 editors registered at this time. That's because, of course, this is the first time I'm sharing this page with you. But as you all log in here and just let us know that you are participating in this event, that number will increase. And at the end of the day, we'll be able to see how many articles were edited, the total edits made, the words added, references added, and then the article views will continue to track as people view the articles that you create. The other page I want to share with you is our event, the Google Sheet on the event page. Now, this is a way that we can prevent cross-editing. So 2 people should not be working on the same Wikipedia article at the same time. That's because if one person saves before the other, if you're both in editing mode and one person saves before the other, your edits will cancel each other out. So we want to make sure that you are all working independently on your articles, you finish them and publish them, and then potentially if somebody wants to go ahead and pick them up and work on them when you're done, that's fine, but we want to make sure that only one person is working on an article at a time. The way that we handle this is not too high tech. We just ask that you go to the Google Sheet where all the articles will be listed here and just share your username or your name or just a note saying it's being worked on. When you're done working on that article, just remove your name so others can take it over. So now that we've done our housekeeping, hopefully you will all have a chance prior to the event to go to the event page, to sign in Wikipedia and create your account, to also go to the dashboard and log in there and let us know that you are participating. But now we're on to the good stuff, talking about Wikipedia itself, what it exactly is, and how we edit it. So Wikipedia is one of those fun things that some of us use on a daily or weekly basis, but we don't often stop to think exactly what is this thing. So Wikipedia is a multilingual web-based free encyclopedia based on the model of openly editable content. It's basically a fancy way of saying it's an online encyclopedia that anyone can edit. It is supported financially by the Wikimedia Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization that receives money from donors. So I always like to share this graphic because I think it explains it best. You'll hear me say Wikimedia and Wikipedia. So there is a difference. So Wikimedia is what we call our suite of projects, or what I like to call the Wikimedia umbrella. And under that umbrella, we have a number of sub-projects. So we have Wikipedia, which is the largest, and we'll be working in mostly today. There's Wiktionary, Wikibooks, Wikinews. The other 2 large ones, in addition to Wikipedia, that we'll talk slightly about today is Wikimedia Commons, which is an online photo repository, and Wikidata. It's an online database. So Wikipedia was founded with the idea that there should be no paywall between individuals and the sum of all human knowledge, and we best accomplish that through a crowdsourced encyclopedia. Editing Wikipedia is free. Using Wikipedia is free. It's created and edited by volunteers. It is overseen by the foundation. All edits are recorded forever. And there are currently 7+ million articles. I've been checked in the last few weeks. We may be closer to 8 now, but 7+ million articles, at least in Wikipedia, in English Wikipedia, I should say. And there are Wikipedias in over 280 languages. English is the largest, but there are other language Wikipedias out there. If you are fluent or able to edit articles in other languages, feel free to give that a go. To access other language Wikipedias, if you just go to wikipedia.org and use the search bar to search for the language, you'll be able to see if that language Wikipedia exists. And one of the interesting things about the language Wikipedias is just because an article exists in English does not mean that it exists in another language. So it has to be manually created in that language. So one of the things that we do as far as gaps in Wikipedia is we encourage people who are able to create those articles in other languages to do so, and vice versa. If there are articles in any other language we encourage that do not exist in English Wikipedia, we encourage folks to translate them and get them onto English Wikipedia. So all content on Wikipedia is freely licensed without restrictions. Anything that you add to Wikipedia or Wikimedia Commons, when we're talking about images or photos, should be in the public domain, or you should release the rights to them. This, of course, applies to written content, but also images, videos, and uploads. So I always tell people, if you're planning to write a book in the future, don't just swipe the paragraph there or section that you're hoping to put in your book and put it into a Wikipedia article. What you want to do is rewrite it in other words. We've had that happen a few times, and I just wanted to make sure that everyone knows that if you publish it in Wikipedia, you're releasing it into the public domain. So if there's anything that you want to hold on to, you want to hold on to your rights to it and not share it publicly so that others can use it and distribute it, please just rewrite it in your own words. So Wikipedia basics and policies and oversight. So what is a wiki? A wiki is a website that anyone can edit. The edits are meant to be quick. All versions are remembered, and wikis hyperlink from one to the other. It's what we call the Wikipedia rabbit hole. You click on one blue link in an article you're reading, and then you learn about something you never knew even existed. So hyperlinks between Wikipedia articles are important. So Wikipedia is an encyclopedia. It is written from a neutral point of view. The content is free that anyone can use, edit, or distribute. Editors should treat each other with respect and civility, and Wikipedia has no firm rules. Now, these are what we call our Wikipedia 5 pillars. And you'll notice on the bottom right hand of the screen, I have a shortcut. If you type this shortcut WP:/pillars into a Wikipedia search bar, it'll show you this page that goes over the 5 pillars, the thoughts behind them. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but these are the pillars upon which Wikipedia is built. So you'll see neutral point of view come up here again. These are basic Wikipedia policies, and these are the things we want you to keep in mind when you're actually editing. So when writing, you want to keep a neutral point of view. I mean, it could be your most favorite person in the world, as long as you have no conflict with them and you want to go ahead and create an article about them, please make sure that your tone is neutral. You want to make sure the person that you're writing about is notable. Now, this is crucial, and we'll talk more about it a bit as we go on. But notability is really important. You want to make sure the person that you're writing about in Wikipedia or creating an article about in Wikipedia is notable enough to have a Wikipedia article. Now, how do we know that? You want to make sure that you can find 2 to 3 independent, high quality secondary sources that talk about that person's notability or accomplishments. If you cannot find that material, it's best to hold off on creating that article, because what we're saying needs to be, we need to be able to prove it. And that's best proven with high quality secondary sources. You want to make sure that the sources you're using are verifiable, that they're coming from high quality places. So if it's a questionable website or a questionable organization, whatever it may be, you want to make sure that you're using reliable sources, and you may want to stay away from things that are in the general consensus is that they are unreliable. No original research. Now, you want to make sure when you're adding things to encyclopedia, because of course an encyclopedia is a tertiary source, that you are finding and citing secondary sources. You're not going into primary documents, finding out somebody's life story from their diary. Instead, you are using published sources that are already out there that already report that material. So that's what we mean by no original research. Assume good faith. So Wikipedia is not a social media company, but it is a social environment sometimes. So sometimes you could create an article and somebody could come along and say, you know, this article isn't great. Here are some ways to improve it. We want to make sure as that dialogue continues that people maintain a congenial spirit. If you do ever feel threatened in Wikipedia or you feel like somebody is treating you unfairly, there are ways to report that behavior. If you go to wikimediadc.org, again, wikimediadc.org, which is our website, you'll find our safe space policy about how to handle threatening behavior. So lastly, conflicts of interest. I have a whole other slide about conflicts of interest because it is important to talk about, but you want to make sure that you are not editing things with which or about whom you have a conflict of interest. So do not edit articles about yourselves, your colleagues, your employer, your employee, close relatives, or friends. So this is important. We want to make sure that you have distance from the subject of, or topic of your article. Now, we do a lot of edit-a-thons with museums and galleries and libraries and whatever it may be. And one of the questions that come up is, can I edit an article about somebody who worked for this library museum, for example, but is passed away 100 years ago or 50 years ago, and I had no relationship with them? Yes, that would be fine. But you want to make sure if somebody is living and you have a personal relationship with them, you don't want to edit an article about them, and you don't want to edit an article about the place where you work or someone you are closely work with. So another note about sourcing. So you want to make sure when you enter information into Wikipedia that you are citing a source. So those sources could be news organizations, published scholarship, and it may seem a little funny, but sometimes it's okay to cite op-eds if you're using it to show another side of a debate, for example. But I usually tell people to default to published scholarships, either print or online, scholarship rather, either print or online, or well-known news organizations or trustworthy news organizations. Those can include government resources, some university resources, and I'll get into that in a moment a little more, as well as things published by scientific institutions or agencies. You want to stay away from citing primary sources such as someone's LinkedIn profile, someone's social media, any self-published websites, things like that. So this is a bit more about that. And I did want to take a moment because I know we have some university links on our sources that have been shared in the Google Sheet. Some of them are okay to use. I just wanted to make a quick note about that. So again, we want to cite newspapers, academic journals, similar high quality things. Websites are okay for government, museums, scientific institutions, and universities. But when you're citing something from a university, if it's a blog, an official publication, whatever it may be, that's fine. If it's just a professor's profile, you can cite it if you were also able to find the majority of the information about that person and their notability from other sources. So if their profile is the only place that you can find what college they graduated from or their date of birth, that would be okay. But don't make it the primary source that you're using to create an article, because that in a way is considered almost a self-published or self-reported information as opposed to a secondary source that someone else has written about. So again, going back to sources, you'll hear we talk about it a lot because it's quite important. So you want to not cite somebody's own website. So if some of our scientists today have self-published websites, don't cite them as a source of information, please, because they're not considered neutral sources. You want to make sure that you're not citing their own work, their own books, journals, etc. You can add, however, a list of their publications into the Wikipedia article in the section called publications or published works. That would be okay to include them in a list, but you don't necessarily want to cite them. So lastly, in this section is article quality. So Wikipedia articles are assigned a quality score. It basically relies on the number of words and sometimes the number of sources used. You'll see this, I think I took this screenshot about a month ago, but if you go all the way down to the bottom right, you'll see the total number of articles in Wikipedia at that time were about 7.4 million. And if you look on the left, you'll see this nice color-coded chart here. So this is read from bottom to top. So list is just a list in Wikipedia. It's not ranked, rated in the same way. But if you go up the stub is a rating for a Wikipedia article. Stub is considered a short article that potentially could have room for improvement. We have a start article that's a short article, but a little longer. Then we have a C article, which is about mid-range. Then we have a B article, which is better. A article stands for good article. Then we have A. FL, which is featured list. So we sort of skip that for the moment. And lastly, the highest rated articles as far as quality goes in Wikipedia are what we call FA articles or featured articles. These are articles that are high quality enough to be featured in Wikipedia's homepage. Most of the articles that we will start here today when creating new ones will wind up as stubs. Of course, as you work on them, they could go from a stub to a start or a start to a C. But just know the ultimate goal here is to just try to create some stubs, even if an article is short and you have established one's notability, you've cited your sources correctly, those sources are high quality enough to support what you're adding. It's okay to start a stub. I have articles that I've started at events that are 3 lines long and only include a lead paragraph or the opening paragraph of a Wikipedia article. And it's fine, as long as you have your sources, have talked about their notability, and have done everything correctly there. Stub articles are great because other editors can come along and create them. So please don't feel when working today or whenever you continue this work that you have to write a novel to get a Wikipedia article into Wikipedia. Most important thing is just make your case for notability and format it correctly, and a stub should stick. Lastly, Wikipedia's gender gap. So we're doing a lot of gender gap work here today. It's really exciting. I'd say for our organization, about 75% of the events that we do like this are gender gap events, because it is something that was actually written into a recent organizational plan that we should focus on that because it is such an issue within Wikipedia. So what does this Wikipedia gender gap look like? So we have 2 types of gaps. We have a gender gap in participation as far as editing goes, and a gap in content. So first we'll cover participation. So the average Wikipedian is white male, technically inclined, formally educated, speaks English, is 15 to 49. That 15 number always throws me a bit, but 15 to 49, from a majority Christian country, developed nation, Northern Hemisphere, and likely to be a white collar worker. So from the data that we have, about 1 in 10 Wikipedia editors identifies as female. So obviously that's a participation gap there. Ultimately translates into about 19.44% of Wikipedia articles, which within English language Wikipedia, are about women. So I should say biographies within English Wikipedia are about women. So when this number was first tracked, in 2014, that number of English language biographies within Wikipedia about women was about 15%. Now it is 19.44%. It may not seem like that much of a bump, but what I always like to say is we have increased by 4.4% or whatever it may be, but it wasn't like articles about men just stopped being created. So we're still staying ahead a bit, and we want to make sure that all the articles that we create today, we're able to get them to the place where they can be published within Wikipedia, and that we can help to close this gap because we want to see that number going up and up. And here's some other ways that you can help today and beyond. So you can always, edit Wikipedia on your own. That's a great way to close the gap. You can, let's say you're watching your show on PBS or the History Channel and you hear a name and you look in Wikipedia and you realize that woman does not have a Wikipedia article about them. And you're able to find sources that support her notability. Go ahead and sit on your sofa on a Friday night like me and create that article. I know it may sound sad, but I find it fun. Another way, if you want to get more formally involved, is to keep coming to events like this. Our organization is one of the official affiliates of the Wikimedia Foundation for the purpose of outreach. There are other groups like us, chapter affiliates around the world. In the United States, there's one in New York, and of course there's DC. We are the only 2 official chapter affiliates in the United States. There are chapter affiliates in Canada and Mexico, and I believe the number, it's about 34 to 36 chapter affiliates around the world. There is one in the UK as well, and I know that we may have some folks from there today. So just go to Wikipedia and you can search for chapter affiliates, and you can look for all the events that they're having in your area. With this virtual work life that we've been balancing over the last few years, a lot of those events, no matter where you are regionally, are being hosted online. So you may be able to participate in an event like this one around the world. Another way you can get involved is looking at Wiki Project Women in Red. So Wiki Project Women in Red is a page within Wikipedia that has what they call a red list index. It is a list of women organized by theme, profession, nationality, whatever it may be. And it's individuals that are most likely notable enough to have Wikipedia articles, but don't. So if you need some inspiration outside of the work list that we have today, it's a great place to go. There's a list of recommended activities. If somebody has an article that they created that's potentially up for deletion, it'll say, you know, please go see if you agree and maybe try to improve it. So it's a fun place to go and learn about the work that's happening. So now that we've covered the basics of the tools for the event, what we're actually, the background of Wikipedia and what things to keep in mind when editing, we're actually going to go into the good stuff, how to edit Wikipedia. So the first thing I want to share with you is when you create a Wikipedia username, you are given the opportunity to create a user page. Now, a user page is a publicly facing page that other people can see, whether they're logged in or not. They can search for your username, and if you feel like sharing information about yourself, you can put it on your user page. Now, just know that this is not mandatory. You do not have to share information about yourself. You never have to share anything personal. But if you do want to share, say hello, or share that you're interested in editing about a certain content, or specifically you're into gender gap work, you can share that here or share whatever you'd like. So to access and create your user page, what you would do is make sure that you're logged into Wikipedia. On the top right, you would click on the blue hyperlink that has your name. It will bring you, if you're new, to a page, a blank page, and it will say, would you like to create this user page? And you would say yes. It will present you with a blank page. You would fill it in with whatever you like. Sometimes people just say, hi, happy to be here. But again, you do not have to use it. I do have a colleague that recommends putting something there, however, just to let other people know that you're a real person. Once you're done adding something there, you can just go ahead and click publish, and the page will go live. Again, this is not mandatory, but recommended by colleagues of mine. So another fun tool or page that you will get is when you create a username is you'll get a talk page. So when you click on your username, it brings you to your user page. When you look on the left-hand side of your user page, you'll also see a tab called Talk. If you click on Talk, it brings you to a page where potentially other editors will leave you messages. So if you are new, sometimes you'll get a message from the Tea House. The Tea House is a community of editors that help new editors learn how to edit and get tips and tricks and that sort of thing. It's very useful, and they're a really nice community of people. It also, if somebody leaves you a message, that's where that message would go. You're able to respond to the message there by editing this page and tagging that person's username. So just know that this is a way that you can communicate with other editors. Now, there is a way to communicate within talk pages of articles themselves, which I'll go over in a minute. But just know that talk page is there for you to use to communicate to other editors about other things. Preparing to edit. So setting editing preferences is very important, and I'll explain why now. There are 2 types of editors within Wikipedia, visual editor and source editor. So visual editor is a what you see is what you get editing system. It's almost like these easier website editing tools that are used like WordPress and whatever it may be. So when you use visual editor in Wikipedia, you click the edit button, the page will reload and look very similar to the way it did before, but you'll notice that your cursor will be flashing. You'll be able to add content, delete content, just as if you were editing or creating a Microsoft Word document or a Google Doc. or an email. You'll see a lot of similarities between those three things within Visual Editor and Wikipedia. That's what we'll be using today when learning how to edit Wikipedia. If you know code, are able to edit in code, you also can do so using Wikipedia's source editor. When Wikipedia started, you could only edit in source. We're really great for accessibility reasons. We're really grateful for accessibility reasons that we now have Visual Editor. As a trainer, it makes it easier for me to explain to people how to actually edit, and also limits barriers to participating as a Wikipedia editor, because you don't have to know code to edit Wikipedia now. Now, of course, this is important to know, but one of the things, one of the reasons I like to talk about this before having you set some preferences is that sometimes Visual Editor can be hard to find. Ideally, that wouldn't be the case, but we want to make sure that you're set up for success and that you're able to find Visual Editor. So when you're looking at an article or want to create an article, you're able to edit in the easiest, most efficient way for you possible. So this is how you set the preference to make sure that you have access to Visual Editor in the easiest way possible. So make sure that you're logged into Wikipedia. It could be, you could be logged into a Wikipedia article. You could be logged in from our event page. It doesn't matter. Just make sure that you're logged in. And because these hyperlinks at the top are universal across whatever page you're on. So make sure you're logged in. Go ahead and click on the blue preferences link. That will bring you to a menu. That menu will offer you a bunch of options. What you would do is go ahead and click on editing. That is the third tab from the left. On that page, you'll scroll down to the section called Editor. Within the Editor section, there is a drop-down menu called Editing Mode. You're going to want to open that up, select Show Me Both Editor Tabs. Once you've done that, scroll down and hit the Save button. Okay, and I'm going to run back for a moment and show you that again. To set this preference, again, this is to make sure that you can easily find Visual Editor, which is the easier to use editing button or system. You're going to go ahead and click on, make sure you're logged in, and click on Preferences on the top right. Click on Editing, which is the third from the left. You would then scroll down to the Editor section, open up the Editing Mode drop-down menu, and Show Me Both Editor Tabs, and make sure that you save. So now we're moving on to what does an article look like, a successful article, and how can you make yours look like that? So I have a sample here. I have Alex Cunningham Fletcher. She was an anthropologist, social scientist. We actually worked on her article before in an event that we did at the Smithsonian. So I thought it would be fun to come back and look at this because we did add a lot of content at an event a few years ago. So this is our sample article, and we'll break it down by section now. So the first thing I want to talk about is, remember how we had said that user pages also have talk pages? That's places where people can leave you messages about your work or your interests. Our Wikipedia articles also have talk pages. So if you look at a Wikipedia article, whether you're logged in or not, and you click on the left-hand side talk tab, it will show you any behind the scenes discussions that were had about the article. It will also show you if the article has been flagged as being part of a wiki project. So wiki projects are groups of people or editors who work together within a certain theme or area. So it could be having to do with social science, or it could have to do with anything under the sun, really. There's one American history, European history, whatever it may be. So if it has to do with that thing, or anthropology rather, if it has to do with that topic, somebody would tag it as being related to that, and it will be added to a list within the wiki project page saying, hey, this article was created, or this article falls within our interests. So some people will come to the article talk page and just tag this article as being related to these themes. And wiki projects are fun. If you ever want to learn more about it, you can just go search for wiki projects within Wikipedia and see a list. There are a lot of them. So the talk page is a place where people have conversations. So let's say there was a controversy about her birth date. If there was a conversation behind the scenes about it, you may see that here. You do not have to engage on a talk page. Just know that you're welcome to edit an article without asking for permission first. So we just hope that you do everything in the way that you've learned in the appropriate way, but you do not have to ask for permission. So no need to go to the talk page and say, can I edit this article? Or do you think I should do this? Just go ahead, be bold and do it. But we always recommend looking at the talk page to see if there were any sort of conversations that might be of interest to you. So in addition to a talk tab, Wikipedia articles actually have history tabs or history logs. So to view a history log, what you need to do is have the article up on your page, on your screen. You will click on View History, and it will show you a list of every edit that was ever made to that page. Now, this is really useful when you want to revert vandalism or change things back to the way it looked before. So let's say somebody vandalized an article and a Wikipedia bot did not catch it, but you did. What you could do is go to View History. You could click on the date that you want to revert to, how the article looked on a prior date. You would click on the date, you would click Edit, and then Publish. And what that would do is revert the article to the way it looked before. It's also a fun tool just to go and view history. If you click on any of these dates, it'll show you what the article looked like from the day it was created all the way up until the current day. So back to the article itself. So a typical article, and I'm sure we've all seen them a million times, a typical article will start with a lead paragraph. Now, a lead paragraph includes the person's name when working on a biography. If you're not working on a biography, just make sure the topic that you're writing about is emboldened. If you know their birth date and death date, it includes it there. And this is where you make your big notability statement. I like to call it the hook. So why is this person important? Why are they notable? Why do they have a Wikipedia article? So this one is kind of short, but that's okay. But you'll see here, there's a general statement about what they did. I've written articles that I've done like this and just said what somebody's profession was, and it got rejected because they think the notability statement wasn't obvious. But this one seemed to stick, and I think that's because the folks who edited it added some really good content, added some references below, and made it really high quality enough that it was clear why, as an anthropologist, ethnologist, social scientist, she was notable, she was important, and her work did have impact and is important within her field. So you want to aim to be able to prove that in what you're adding to your article. So like I said, we have our lead paragraph. That's what we start with. Everything below a lead paragraph is broken out chronologically. So you want to make sections. So we start with our lead, which is a summary of their importance. Then we have early life and education, followed by career. Below that, we'll typically have published works. We'll have death and legacy. Sometimes if their personal life was not necessarily important to their notability, you'll see personal life down there. Sometimes you'll see personal life information in early life and education. If you're talking about siblings they had or their parents. If they did choose to marry or have a long-term relationship, you may see that mentioned further down on the page in a personal life section. Within an article, you will also see sometimes a main photo or info box. It's really a snapshot on the right-hand side of biodata about this person. So when they were born, when they died, what they did. Not all articles, especially new ones, will have these. Ideally, they will at some point, but just know it's okay to create a stub or short Wikipedia article without this as a new editor. That's totally fine, but the ultimate goal is to get one of these in there at some point, even if it's not added by you. So Wikipedia uses inline citations. So just like writing a basic research paper, when you make a statement about somebody, you need to tell the world where you got that information. So we have our citation number and our corresponding source at the bottom in the references section. So when you edit Wikipedia, you need to make sure that you are adding a citation number and the corresponding reference. But luckily, we have some really easy tools that we can use through Visual Editor that make this quite user-friendly, in my opinion. So within Wikipedia articles below references, sometimes you'll see other sections. So we'll have external links and categories, starting with categories from the bottom up here. Categories are almost like tags, or they really are tags. And what it does is if you put somebody into a category by clicking the plus sign at the bottom and adding the name of the category you would like them to be in, it will add them to a list of people who fall into that category as well. Categories are not perfect. one of the fun facts about categories is you need to know the name of the category you'd like them to be added to before starting to type. One things we always recommend is find another individual that potentially could be in that category. Look at the bottom of their article, find the name of the category, and then copy it and then paste it into this one. Categories are not perfect. Sometimes so, for example, we have American women archaeologists here listed as a category. If you start typing women, American archaeologists, or archaeologists who are women, you may not get a result for that. So you need to know that it's specifically labeled as a category, American women archaeologists. It's not a perfect system, and I believe there's people working on it, hopefully. But just know that sometimes categories can be hard to figure out exactly how they're worded. But we're not going to focus too much on that. And moving upwards, external link sections within Wikipedia articles are things that we're linking to that are not in Wikipedia. So external links are links that take people outside of Wikipedia. So let's say there was somebody had an oral history or an interview, and the video is available through the Library of Congress. You can say interview on X date from the collection of Library of Congress, highlight what you're linking to, insert a link, and it will bring people to that external link. But just know that all the blue links that you see in a Wikipedia article within the body of it are linking from Wikipedia to Wikipedia. In external links, however, that is not the case. You are linking from Wikipedia to an external website. So a good thing to know is that this isn't where you put your references. These are things that you want the reader to know that aren't necessarily things that you're citing. So now editing existing articles. So I typically, even though we're going to focus on creating new ones today, I typically like to show the basic steps of editing Wikipedia by showing you how to edit an existing article. So at this point, I'm going to actually leave my presentation and go to the article itself. Show you, hopefully that's visible there. So let's say I have this article and I see a typo, or I found something really interesting about her that I would like to share. So I'm going to go ahead and click the edit button. Make this a bit bigger here. And now once I click my edit button, my cursor is flashing. So I can go over here and type anything. I can, don't worry, I don't save any of this, so don't worry about this, but I can go here and delete something. I can add any content as long as I have a source to back me up. Okay, so that edit button that we actually saw was next to another button called Edit Source. So I'm going to discard my edits for the moment. So we have a button here called Edit and Edit Source. So remember we set that visual editor preference. The reason that we're seeing both edit and edit source is because we did that. If you have not correctly set that preference, you will only see edit source. And if you click on that, you'll be shown the code. Which if you know how to edit and code, you're welcome to edit there too as well. But just know that if you want to stick with visual editor, which is more of the what you see is what you get editing system, click the edit button. Fun fact, there is a way to toggle between them by clicking on this fun pencil icon. So if you open it up, you can go back and forth between the different types of editors that way as well. But for now, we're still in visual editor. So let's say you found a secondary source and you found something about her and you said, great, I'm going to add it to this article. You'll go into the section where it belongs, you'll add it and you'll cite your source. So let's pretend for a moment that I've done that. And I'm ready to tell the world where I found this information. So this is how we do the citation feature. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to click the Cite button. Now, when I clicked that Edit button to access Visual Editor, I was given all of these great formatting tools. So those will appear as soon as you hit Edit. So I want to cite my source. So I'm going to go up here, place my cursor where I want my citation to go. I'm going to click Cite. And we get three options. So automatic, that's what I'll start with here. If you have a URL to a website, you can pop it in here. If you have an ISBN from a book, you can pop it in here, or any of the things listed here. Once you do that, you can click Generate. And in many cases, it will format the citation and corresponding reference properly. and insert it, and then you're done. So that's always a fun way to do it. Just know that things don't, some URLs and some sources, it doesn't always work perfectly, but you can go back and edit things to change them and make them look the way that they're supposed to. But just know that this is the easiest way to do it if it does format correctly. So give it a shot. If you have a link to a website, if it's, you know, an online article from the Times, for example, go ahead and pop the URL in there, click generate, and it creates your citation. Where you have the most flexibility, however, is if you click manual and you're going to tell Wikipedia what you're citing. So let's say I'm citing a book. I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and it's going to open up page here. Just know that everything with the asterisk is required. So right here is only the title is required. We do ask you, however, to put in everything you know. Be pretty thorough, or as thorough as you can. So we have last name, first name. If there's another person who worked on the book or an editor, you can go in here and actually add first name, last name for another of the authors or publishers, whatever it may be, and just fill this out. When you're done, you click insert, and Wikipedia will format it for you in the way that it likes. Once that's done, automatically at the bottom in the references section, you'll have a corresponding number to the citation that you added. You don't have to worry about pushing everything down. That will all be done automatically. So just say that again, you're going to place your cursor where you want your citation to go, click the cite button. You can use automatic if you have a URL. If you want to be a little more specific or refined here, you'll click manual, select what you want to do, what do you want to cite, and fill in the details. Last thing I want to show you is reuse. So let's say you've cited something already in another part of the article and you want to cite it again without having to do all of this. Click reuse. It's actually going to show you everything that's been cited already. You find what you want to cite again and click on it, and it will insert it automatically right there. Okay. So that's how we already covered adding content by just clicking edit and typing. And we covered so far how to add citations. The next thing I'm going to show you how to do is add hyperlinks. Now, I'm sure most of us know how to do this, if not all of us. This is something that we do quite often in emails and in other places, whether on social media or otherwise, or on websites. It's the same process. So let's say you want to link from this Wikipedia article to another Wikipedia article. You're going to go ahead. I'll go ahead and cancel this one so I can show you from scratch. You're going to say, okay, Havana, Cuba. I know there's an article about Havana. So let me link from this Wikipedia article to that one. Go up here to highlight it first, go up here to the link icon, and Wikipedia is automatically going to pull up anything that is saved, any article that is named Havana, and you're going to find the one you want, click on it, and it will create your hyperlink. Now, important to mention, you only have to hyperlink to something the first time it appears. So if you see Havana, Cuba 20 times within the body of the article, you only have to do the hyperlink the first time. So there's no need to go through the entire thing and hyperlink to Havana every single time it appears. You'll see here, there is an exception in the info box. There should be a hyperlink in the info box. But if a Havana appeared within the actual text body, you only have to link to it once. And this is a nice opportunity to mention, when you see a link that's red within Wikipedia, that means that article does not exist yet. So this is an article I'm sure that somebody at some point will take on creating. Now that's how we link to Wikipedia, from Wikipedia to Wikipedia. I had mentioned a while back external links, so I'm going to show you how we handle that. You'll see as we scroll down, we have had her career history, then it talks about death and legacy, then awards and honors. Then we have a list of her works here. Then we have references, which happens automatically as you add your citations. But what I want to talk about for the moment is external links. So again, these are things that you didn't necessarily cite as sources, but things that you'd like to share with others. So if it's a page that has original letters or her journals from her studies, or if it's a video, you can actually go down here. And I'm just going to type something here. You're going to say what it is. Same hyperlink function here. So I'm going to highlight it, go up here to my link button. But instead of clicking that I'm going to Wikipedia article, I'm going to click that I'm going to an external site. Then you would just paste the URL you want people to be taken to in there and click done. And that will take them to that article. So if I go here, that's going to take me to the Commons category. If I clicked on this, it'll take me to Project Gutenberg. If I clicked on this, it'll take me to Internet Archive. So if you happen to find something really interesting that you want to share, feel free, that you haven't cited, that you can go ahead and put in an external links. And again, these are things that are like primary sources or things that aren't necessarily great for secondary source purposes, but things that you'd like to share. The next thing we're going to talk about is how to add sections. So as I said, I'm showing you how to do this on an existing article because I'd like you to look at the structure, but all of this will translate into creating a new article. So let's say you wanted to add a section into an existing article, or you wanted to start building sections in the article that you're creating. So what all you would need to do is first thing to do is establish this lead paragraph. So you'd say who this person is, why they're important. You would then place your cursor at the site of the section, and you're going to change the font from a paragraph font to a heading font. And you do that by going up to here to this drop-down menu. Click on heading. Okay, and I'm just going to do like a sample heading here. So we have a sample heading. Now, if I hit enter or return, it will default back to the paragraph text. So you can start writing, you can add your hyperlinks, you can add your sources. And that's how you add sections. So again, if you're starting an article from scratch, you're going to write your lead paragraph and then you can start building out sections. I said this before and I'll say it again. If you don't get to sections today or at some point, that's fine. If you do a short stub article that has a 3-line lead paragraph and that's all that you do, please publish it, because there are many articles out there that exist with just a lead paragraph and no sections. That just gives other editors a heads up that they can go ahead and start working on it. As long as you made your case for notability in this first section here, it's okay to publish it without the sections. If you wanted to go a step further, which would be ideal, either today or another time, you can start adding sections and building out the story of their life chronologically. We have here. So I'm going to show you one more thing here. Believe it or not, we're actually coming towards the end of this part of the training. You'll see we have photo here embedded in the info box. That's a little more advanced than I want to go over for new editors, but you'll see here we have photos throughout the article. So we have photos here on the left. We actually have some of the songs that she gathered, recordings of the songs. It looks like that's the main photos here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this for a moment. Don't worry, I don't save anything. Let's say I wanted to see if there was a photo that related to this section that I could share with folks to say, hey, this is a picture of her working, or this is a nice image of her that relates to this article or this section. Here's what I would do while in Visual Editor. So I'm going to place my cursor in the general area where I want the photo to go, which let's say would be over here after this, this line. I'm going to click there. I'm going to go up here to Insert. I'm going to click Images and Media. So I'm going to type, sometimes it'll come up. Automatically, but sometimes we have to type it in. So it's going to show me every image in Wikimedia Commons that exists that's tagged as Alice Fletcher. So Wikimedia Commons is an online photo repository that's part of Wikimedia. All photos that you see in Wikipedia must be uploaded into Wikimedia Commons first in order to be accessible here. There should not be a photo within Wikipedia that's not in Wikimedia Commons. We'll talk a bit more about Wikimedia Commons in a moment, but just know that anything that comes up when doing what I just did are images that are already in Wikimedia Commons, and that the person who uploaded them to Commons has addressed the copyright, so they are okay to use in your article. So let's say here's the picture I want to find. I said, oh, that relates to her career. It's a picture of her writing at her desk. I say, okay, I want to use that. So to do so, I just want to click it. I'm going to say, use this image. Then I could caption it. I mean, it could very well be the same name as the file name. So let's just say I'll put that there, unless you want to, you can always do something different. It's actually in bold, which I don't want it to be. Alternative text, if somebody is visually impaired, you'll share what's physically shown, a description briefly of what's physically shown in that image. Then you can go ahead and click Insert, and the image will appear in the general area where you want it to go. So let's say you wanted to get a little fancy with it. You can insert it like that and click on it and go to Edit if you wanted to change something. And I can go up here and click Advanced. I can move where it's located. I can change the size of it. I can make it frameless. I can do a custom size. So if you want to play around with that, you're more than welcome to, as long as it works within the design of the article there. That's how you insert an image. And also, if you ever want to delete an image, you can delete it too. I tend to work on articles related to, or I used to, 18th and 19th century history, just because that's what my work experience was prior to this. And I had some articles that I like to work on. And I noticed that there were a lot of images of historical figures that were not actually them. So I spent some time when I first started editing, going through articles and deleting photos that were not actually the people that they were tagged as being. So that's something you can do too. Fun thing about Wikipedia, it's not always adding content. Sometimes it's removing content that's incorrect. So the last thing you want to do when done working within an article is publish. Now, with that in mind, you do want to publish as you go. So let's say you did something, you want to make sure you don't lose it. Let's say your computer's about to die, your internet connection is not great, or you're worried, you just want to get it out there so you can come back and keep working and have it saved as you go. You will click publish changes. You'll then get a pop-up box that says edit summary, and it's going to ask you what you've done. You don't have to write a novel. You can just say added biographical information, add a new citation, deleted typo, whatever it may be. Then click OK, and your work will go live within English Wikipedia right away, if working in English Wikipedia. Some Wikipedias out there, the changes do not go live right away. For example, German Wikipedia, it has a bit of a review process, but in English Wikipedia, your changes will go live right away. You should be publishing as you go. So if you choose to add something and then you want to publish it and come back and keep working, just hit publish, fill out edit summary, go back, click edit, do the process over again, publish again, go back and click edit. It's just a way to save your work as you go so you don't lose anything. But the last thing you want to do before closing your page is publish your changes, and that one last time, and that will make sure that your changes are live and they will be visible immediately. So with that in mind, I'm not actually going to change what I did because I did some vandalizing here. So I'm going to go ahead and click read. And it's going to say, do you want to go back to read mode and leave the changes you made? And I'm going to say yes. And it's just going to have the article the way it looked before I started messing with it. I'd be remiss to not mention that the interface of Wikipedia has changed in the last day or so. It may look a little different to you. You'll notice if you use it a lot on your desktop, the menu over here on the right used to be blue. Some of the buttons look different. They look more just like general hyperlinks as opposed to tabs. It's taking me a bit of time to get used to. So I'm a bit slower with this than I usually am, but just know that it's not you. It did change. There is a way to revert it back to the way that it used to be. I've chosen not to do that, even though I prefer the way that it used to be, because that's just what I'm used to, because I train a lot of people and I want to make sure that I'm training them on the most current version of Wikipedia. And I will take a moment to highlight some of the things on the left side of the screen. Now, any article, a fun thing is you can actually click on page information, which is on the left-hand side, and it will show you how many times the article has been viewed in the last 30 days. So that's something fun to look at. And when you create articles, you can always go back and take a look at that yourself. If there's an item on this in Wikidata, which is the online database here, you can click on that. It'll show you a snapshot of what that looks like. If the article exists in other languages, you can scroll down and it should show you that. I apologize, it's a little different looking than usual. It looks like this may not exist in other languages. Unless they change the location, which it looks like they may have. But there are some fun features to play around with on the right-hand side. So hopefully the last few, I say a few minutes, longer than a few minutes, but really covered how to actually go into an existing article and create it. Now, the next thing I want to show you how to do is how to create new articles, because that's mostly, I think, what we're going to be doing today. So remember how I had mentioned red links within Wikipedia are used to create new articles. So let's say I have our event page here. And you look at our list of articles which will live on the event page, and you want to create one. First thing we're going to have you do is go to the Google Sheet, which is linked here, and just reserve it by adding your username. Okay. Actually have it here. Apologize for that. So it would be here, and it will look something like this. It's taking a moment to load. Okay, and you'll see there's a place next to each of these where you can add your username. That just lets people know that you're working. And back here. So let's say you're looking at that page and you found an article that you want to edit or create, and you've reserved it in the Google Sheet and you're ready to go. Here's what you want to do. Make sure you're logged in. Go ahead and click on the red link and watch what happens. I'll get a blank page. You will notice I've called this draft : Kelly Renison. Okay. As new editors, I highly recommend creating articles as drafts. Now, drafts are things that are public. They are out there and can be viewed by anybody. But when creating something as a draft, you are letting people know that you are working on it. Please don't come along and delete it. It's a work in progress. Within the slide deck in a moment, I actually show you how to create drafts, but also how to move them from draft to Wikipedia main space, which is getting them from draft form to regular Wikipedia. So I clicked on that red link and you'll do the same. You'll reserve the article in the Google Sheet. You'll click on the red link. It'll open up a blank page. And you'll see, remember how we had edit and edit source? Now we have create and create source. So I'm going to go ahead because I want to use visual editor and click create. Okay. It's a little slow today. Try that. That's an interesting new function of the new skin there. Okay. Not really sure why it's not letting me type in there, but we'll figure that out. What you would do is place your cursor down into the body of the article and you would start typing. You would add your lead paragraph, add your citations, add your hyperlinks. One of the things that I highly recommend is adding a references section before you begin. Now, I'm going to go back to my presentation at this point because I have a section on this with a couple pointers. So let's say you have the draft here and you click create and you have it on a blank page. Scroll down and add a references header. Remember how we said to add headers? You're going to type the name of what you want it to be, highlight it, change the font from paragraph to header. Once you've done that and added a references section, then go ahead and scroll back up to the top and start writing your content. The reason I tell people to do the references section first is you don't want to forget to add it, because then as you add your citations and the corresponding sources, they have somewhere to go within the references section. Then you can build out your article using the skills we learned when learning how to edit existing articles. So build your lead paragraph, add cite your sources, add hyperlinks. And remember in that lead paragraph that it's okay just to create a lead paragraph. You don't necessarily have to create sections other than your references section, but make sure that you are making the case for notability. Why is this person important and why are they notable enough to have a Wikipedia article? Remember to publish your draft when you are done. With drafts, you can just keep publishing and publishing and publishing until you're ready for it to move. And let's say it's ready to move to Wikipedia main space, a regular Wikipedia, and you are happy with it. I'm going to show you how to do that now. Just keep publishing though until you're happy with it. So to do this, you need to be able to move the article. So you're basically moving it from having one name to having another name. And this is a permission that is typically granted to new editors only after you've been editing for 4 days or have done 10 edits. I will go ahead and turn that restriction off for those who sign in during the dashboard. So you should, by the end of the day, be able to see this option. If you don't, you can ping me because I will be there on March 8th and we'll be able to figure out why you're not seeing it. But moving on from that, if you have your draft on your screen and you're ready to move it to Wikipedia main space, you be in read mode, not in edit mode, but make sure you're looking at it as if you're reading it, not editing it. There will be a button on the top right called More. If you hover over that, it will open up a small drop-down menu where you'll click Move. You'll then get a page that looks like this, and you'll change title, new title, from draft to article. and then move. Once you've done that, your article will no longer be called draft and whatever it was called, it will just be called the name of the person. Okay, I hope that's clear. And that is something that we can go on over on event day and really show you how to move them when you are ready. Of course, you want to make sure that the draft is in good form before moving it into Wikipedia main space, especially as new editors. The last thing I'm going to talk about, it should only take a few minutes, is Wikimedia Commons. So Wikimedia Commons is an online photo repository that is run under the Wikimedia umbrella. So any image that you see within Wikimedia projects must be in Wikimedia Commons first. And I'll talk about why in a moment. So let's say you found an image on the internet. You just want to go ahead and plop it into somebody's Wikipedia article. You want to take a step back, look at who is publishing that image. If there's a copyright on that image, if it's something that you don't have ownership on, so you can't upload it into Wikipedia. You want to make sure that any photo that you are uploading into Wikimedia Commons is in the public domain, has a copyright that has expired, or has been published by somebody who has released the rights. It could also be, so for example, a government agency or institution, US government agency or institution, typically their works are in the public domain automatically. You want to make sure you're not just taking pictures off the internet and putting them into Wikimedia Commons. You need to make sure that it's clear that the copyright is either expired or it's in the public domain. Same could be separate photos that you take yourself. So if I took a pretty photo of a flower and I wanted to put it into a Wikimedia Commons so that maybe someday somebody would put it into a Wikipedia article, or it could just live happily in Commons. I can upload the photo that I took and put it into Wikimedia Commons and release the rights through Wikimedia Commons. And I'll show you how to do that. So if you have an image you got from somewhere and it has clear copyright that is expired or is in the public domain, or you want to upload your own image, you would go to commons.wikimedia.org. You would select the blue upload button. This is what we call our upload wizard. You're going to select media files to share. Make sure the file is on your device, whether it's your phone or your laptop, whatever you're using. You'll then select the photo that you want to use and hit continue. So this is a small question, but it's the most important question. It's going to say, is this file your own work or is it not your own work? If this was my own work, I would click yes. And I'd have a chance to agree to this releasing of rights under Creative Commons Share Alike 4.0. And you can, if you want to learn more about what that means, you can click on the legal code, and there actually is, Creative Commons explains it into very plain speak about what that means. But basically what that means is, anybody can use it as they wish, they just have to give me credit. Then I would click next and follow the steps of captioning it, describing it, and finishing the upload. Now, let's say the photo was not my own work. I got it from a museum or an institution, or the copyright expired. This is where it gets a little trickier. You need to say, where did you find this file? Do you know who took this picture? Do you know, is it published under a certain legal code? You'll have the option to say, oh, is the copyright expired? So you can go ahead and do that there and address the legal things having to do with rights. The next page, you'll be able to title the image, caption the image, and describe it. Sometimes all those three things are exactly the same, but if you want to get a little different with it, you can do that. For the image title, you want to make sure that you are being as literal as possible. So you don't want to put in the file name from your camera or your phone. You want to say literally what this thing is. It makes it easier for Wikipedia to find it when inserting images into Wikipedia articles. So you'll also be asked if you want to add metadata. So you could say what it depicts. It depicts a bridge, it depicts a walking path, a forest, whatever it may be. This is totally optional. And then you would publish the image, and the image would go into Wikimedia Commons. Once the image is in Wikimedia Commons, you or someone else can go to a Wikipedia article that relates to that image and insert that image into that Wikipedia article. So that, in general, sums up how to edit. Let me go ahead and X out of here. Edit Wikipedia and add information. I hope that this was helpful. I will be on call on March 8th to help go over any more of these steps, to troubleshoot, answer questions, review things that you may have missed or that you're confused about. We will also, to start the day, hopefully review the event page and go over the list of articles that we hope that you edit and create so that we are set up for success and are able to create an impressive number of articles throughout the end of the day. So I'm going to go ahead and toss it back over as we wrap up, but it was a pleasure to show you how to edit Wikipedia, and hopefully we can do great work together.
All right, thank you so much, Ariel, for this important training. I'm Camille Gamboa, and I'm also from SAGE, helping to organize this event. Before you sign off, just a quick reminder that editing will take place on International Women's Day, which is Wednesday, March 8th, virtually and with in-person meetups in London and Washington, D.C. at our offices. We are expecting it to take around 3 hours, and the exact timing will depend on your location. If you have not done so already, register at the link below where you will find more details, including that timing I mentioned. Thanks, and we look forward to editing with you on the 8th.